let me show you how to skip binary files with your grep searches. We'll go to the bin folder, which is obviously full of binary files. So we'll go cd bin. Then we'll search for the pattern IT ASAP. And we'll search every file. Notice how grep hesitated a few seconds there? Let's do it again. Now, it wasn't a lot, but the hesitation was enough to be noticeable. Let's talk about why that happens and how to bypass these annoying messages that we're getting. I'm John. I've spent 15 years in IT working with both the military and in the private sector with FANG-level organizations. I've seen how the best in the business think, troubleshoot, and build, and I want to pass a piece of that rare experience on to you as I show you all about ignoring binary files while pattern matching with grep. First, let's go over how grep recognizes a file as a binary. We covered this in another section that was all about searching binary files instead of skipping them, but it's worth going over again. Grep will determine if a file is a binary or not using the following behavior. Grep will look at the first 32 kilobytes of a file. If it sees a null byte, which is that \0 in the first 32 kilobytes, grep will label that file a binary and perform its normal pattern matching. But by default, it will not display the patterns found. Instead, it will simply say binary file matches if a match is found. On the other hand, if grep does not see a null byte in the first 32 kilobytes of a file, it will continue with its search operations on the file and display the results in its normal manner. Why do the null bytes matter? Well, you don't typically find null bytes in files meant for human consumption, so the presence of a null byte is a safe bet that the file is meant for another purpose other than human beings reading it. Now that we know how grep determines if a file is a binary or not, let's examine these messages we're getting. See how we have one message that says binary file matches and one message that says this is a directory, this X11 directory. We can get rid of the message complaining about a directory using the -d skip option we discussed in another section, like this. -d skip. That's nice because it cleans up our output a little bit. But notice grep is still a little slow. Why is that? Well, the /bin folder is for user binaries, and there's a lot of binary files in there. In fact, let's count how many. We'll clear our screen. We'll go ls, display one result per line. We'll pipe those results to word count, which will count the number of lines. 3,673 files in there, and most of them are binaries. So grep is having to look through all 3,673 files each time we type our command. But let's say we're in a situation where we don't want to search binary files, we want to ignore them. So we'll type grep/d skip, then we'll do uppercase I, and we'll run that. See how we immediately get our results back with no hesitation? Plus, the message binary file matches is gone too. Let me show it again without the ignore. There's hesitation, there's the binary file matches message, and then we'll do it with the ignore. You can think of the -I as a mnemonic for the word ignore in the phrase ignore binaries. Now don't get the uppercase -I confused with the lowercase -i. The lowercase -i is for ignore case, like this. We'll clear our screen. We'll go cd temp. We'll go grep password all files, and then we'll do it with the lowercase I. There we go. See how in the first search we obtained the pattern, but it was all lowercase, like we searched. But in the second search with the -lowercase I, we got the pattern returned where some of the letters were in uppercase as well. Now you know how grep identifies binary files, how grep handles them, and how to ignore binary files if you want to. This knowledge goes beyond what most people in the industry know and understand, so congratulations. If you know of someone else that would enjoy learning how to ignore binaries in their grep searches, please share this video with them. And thanks for hanging out with me.